Fellow auto detailers, welcome to the show that features interviews with today's most successful auto detailers. This is the Auto Detailing Podcast. Here's your host, Jimbo Balaam.
Welcome to episode 231. Yes, 231 of the Auto Detailing Podcast. I'm Jimbo, your host.
Did you get your mic set right this time?
Oh, you know what? I better double check while we have that. Yes, I'm good. My settings are good. Oh, we really should have re-recorded that minute and 45 seconds last time. But
no editing.
No editing.
Just firm rule. No editing.
I couldn't edit because I always say no editing, and so I couldn't edit it. Anyway, if you're just tuning in for the past 34 seconds, that beautiful voice that you just heard, not mine, but Pete Mitchell's, I brought him back. He is the marketing genius, the master growth and marketing strategist. And he is helping me with the detailer marketing bootcamp.com. Might as well get the shameless plugs in there early, Pete.
I like it. And I'm also a handsome devil.
Well,
I say I am, therefore I am. Back off.
There you go. But I brought Pete back on because the feedback was so phenomenal, Pete, and you almost had to shut your phone off from people calling you. So I really wanted to take a deeper. People got a ton of value out of just that episode about us shamelessly plugging the detailer marketing bootcamp.com. That I thought, man, if we actually talk about something of substance, that maybe we're going to talk about at the bootcamp, wow, that would be even more value. So, do you want to talk a little bit about the feedback that we were getting already since last week?
It was really cool because, the episode, what day did you air that? Monday?
That was Monday, last Monday.
Yeah, because we've already got people signing up. I was kind of blown away. I figured it would only be local people.
We're almost a third of the way full, Pete.
Well, most of the people who are signing up are not from Southern California.
I was telling Heather that. I'm like, I even told you, Pete, I'm like, okay, so this event will probably target just the SoCal people, right? Like it'll probably be all SoCal. And then like the first 4 people that signed up were like not from SoCal at all.
We got Missouri, Utah, New Jersey. I thought there was another non-California state. I don't remember.
Non-United States?
No, well, we did. I had someone from the UK reach out to me on Facebook. Someone from Australia reached out to you.
Yep.
I was like, wow, he really does have an international audience. I don't know. I just kind of assumed everyone would be like from Irvine.
Right?
And
that is a testament to you guys listening, how awesome you are.
Yeah.
So thanks for being awesome. It makes me feel special.
Well, it makes me feel special that people are going to come all the way out from.
There's not going to be 3 of us at the event, like me, you, and then the guy from Gars.
Yeah, I so wouldn't show up. I'd be like, Jimbo, you're on your own for that. I got better things to do with my day.
Yeah. And so detailermarketingbootcamp.com, if you haven't listened to that episode, and it's on a Saturday, guys are flying in, checking flights, staying the night, whatever. So Pete, so that was cool. So thanks for you guys that had already signed up. Again, I saw on a thread today, someone was like, oh, the event's only $200. I'm there. And it's like, well, good news. It's actually not $200.
But for them, it's $200. Yeah. We're going to send you a special link.
Yeah. We'll send you a special link for $200. And I had to write back, no, it's actually only $49. So,
well, no, let's get technical. It's actually free when you cover our materials cost of $49.
True. So, but either way, there will be $49 coming out of your bank account, or you will be charging $49. I don't care which one you do.
Yeah, it was this one guy goes, I want my wife to come too. Does she have to pay $49? I'm like, yeah, you're kind of taking up a seat.
And that includes more material.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But we're happy to have you and your wives, I guess.
Yeah.
My wife asked if she could come and I declined.
You should tell her, actually, Pete wants you to come because you're going to be working the back booth.
And that'll be $49.
You'll be checking everyone in. And yes, you're going to be paying $49 as well.
Yes. So, and then she's like, "Oh, do you want your sisters to come?" I'm like, "No, I actually want detailers that run businesses to come, not just seat fillers."
Do your sisters, do they live around here?
Yeah, they live with my dad still.
You know, I guess I just assume because I'm not from Southern California, I kind of assume everyone's not from Southern California, but that's not really accurate. So
that's, you know what I say in my detailing business, if the city doesn't end in beach, I don't work there.
Nice.
So like,
nice. I get you out to my house though.
Yeah, but technically, Pete, you're still in a city that ends with beach.
I'm not. I'm in Rossmore.
Yeah, but Rossmore is an unincorporated part of Seal Beach.
Well, technically, Rossmore is an unincorporated part of Orange County, and I share the zip code with Los Alamitos.
You do. You know what that means, Pete? You're out.
I'm out! And that's too bad, too, because there's a stinking bird who loves to sit on the spoiler on my car and poop all over it.
You know what? I make excuses. I do go to Irvine to do cars. So Irvine Beach.
I got to tell you, man, I don't know what you do to those rims. I don't, because you told me one time you use some acid or something.
I do. And that is a very touchy subject in the detailing industry. Using hydrofluoric acid is very dangerous, and you should only do it if you're a professional. But how are the results, Pete? How are the results?
They're so freaking good. All I care about is I want my wheels to look awesome. I want the black shiny and the chrome just sparkling.
I don't care how I did it. You just want them chromed out.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Boom. Get yourself some hydrofluoric acid, people.
I didn't realize I was opening up a can of worms with that. So.
Oh, I'm very honest. I think it's the greatest, almost one of the greatest products in a detailer's arsenal is hydrofluoric acid.
Interesting.
Anyway, that's only if you want to get results quickly. You can sit there for 4 hours per rim and whatever.
With a toothbrush.
With a toothbrush, which I just don't want to do because Pete, you're cheap. So anyway, let's talk about one aspect of something we're going to be talking about at the event. Something, kind of what I had envisioned, Pete, and I already forgot what we're going to talk about, even though
nice.
They told me already. I forget the words. But one thing I wanted to do was kind of start delivering the goods a little bit before guys even come to the event. So I want them to listen to this podcast and go, have takeaways that they could already start incorporating into their business today before they even come to the event, or if they even decide to sign up for the event. I want them to be able to have a takeaway that they're like, dang, that's good. Can we do that?
Absolutely. In fact, I think what I'm going to share on today's podcast, because you've got such a large audience, literally thousands of people are going to hear this episode.
Eventually.
Well, they are.
I'm teasing.
I mean, they are just kind of the way that it goes. Mm-hmm. This concept that I'm going to share, I think can literally change anyone's business. But there's some people who are going to listen to it right now and they're going to be like, that's it. I'm putting that thing into play. And I'm gonna have a totally different career from here on out.
That's exactly what I want.
Yeah. So do you want me to just jump into it or what?
Yeah, let's just, we already beat around the bush for 8 minutes. Let's just get right into it.
I dig it. It's a concept that I like to call pivot points. So the way it's because of how beautiful the detailing industry is.
I thought you were going to say how beautiful I was.
No, I would never lie to you like that.
Okay.
I don't want to go there. But, no, it literally is because of the detailing industry is such a great industry for someone to be in because it's so easy to get business. It's flat out easy when you're going after the right kind of clients. So to kind of put this into perspective, I'm going to share a story from another industry. And this is where transformation takes place in your business. When you start looking at what other industries are doing and you ask yourself, how can I take that idea, that concept, and apply it to my business and my industry? And that's where you start to see massive things happen in business. A great example of just that idea is the drive-through. So back in the day, banks had drive-throughs, right? You drive through, there was an actual teller, not an ATM machine. This is probably pre Jimbo for you. You
I
probably
have
don't
no idea what you're talking about, Pete.
but you can imagine this, can't you? You can,
Yeah, I can.
okay. And like, so that's how you would do your banking is you'd go through the drive-through, and then fast food looked at that and was like, dude, why don't we take that concept and do it to the point where now you almost have no banks that have drive-throughs, like with people, they might have a drive-through ATM. And now we're starting to see pharmacies have drive-throughs. So it's like the banking industry started it. The fast food industry picked up on it and took over, really. The banking industry then kind of lost it. And now we got pharmacies taking it and doing it. So it's like one industry is looking at what another industry is doing and taking that idea and putting it on in their business. So that's kind of what I want people to do with this example that I give. And I'm going to spell it out how they could apply it to the detailing business. But I got this client who is a photographer. And a photographer to me, in a lot of ways, is very much like a detailer in that it doesn't take a lot to get started in it. Like, you kind of need a somewhat good camera, right? You're not really going to be a photographer with your iPhone and like sell people big packages.
Right.
But other than that, it's not that difficult, because if you're kind of artistic and you can take good pictures, well, then you can be a photographer. Kind of like in the detailing business, if you can get some half decent equipment, and really you can build up to the half decent equipment.
Sure.
You know, you could theoretically.
Yeah, definitely.
And then you just, learn a little bit of skills here and there, and you could be in the detailing business. Well, this guy came to me, a photographer, and he's like, all right, what do I do to grow my business? So we started to look at where he was getting most of his business. Most of his business came from doing senior headshots. So obviously when someone's about ready to graduate high school, they get their senior
Not
pictures.
seniors, people.
No, yeah. High schoolers, not senior citizens. Thanks for pointing out that clarification there.
That's what I'm here for.
So I'm like, okay, well, tell me, how did you get some of your business? He's like, oh, well, I took a couple of seniors and I volunteered to do it for free just so I could, get some pictures in my portfolio. And then they started referring their friends and family. And I'm like, okay, that's awesome. That's great. Because when you're in that stage of, I got to build up my business, you need to do whatever it takes. Like on one of your podcasts, I don't know what episode it was, but you talked about the idea of doing certain things for free just to get business.
The coding episode. How to get more codings. Yeah.
And I'm like listening to that going, okay, this is brilliant. And not that it's unique to detailers, like, this idea of doing something free. That's the way we get business almost in any industry, is we need to have some sort of freebie that we give out there. So anyway, I'm talking to this photographer and I'm like, all right, here's what I want you to do. I want you to see every one of those clients as a pivot point. Seniors know, guess what? Other seniors who need to get senior headshots done. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to put together a program where you're going to offer them a free 11 by 14 photo of them and their friends, if they'll bring all of their friends, to the photo shoot. So like this one guy was a BMX bike racer. And so he had a bunch of buddies who were seniors who were BMX bike racers, and they went out to the track and they're taking, photos. And so what he does is he volunteers to give each of them a free 11 by 14 photo of all of them together on their bikes, doing whatever, because he wants to get in with them and do the senior headshots for them. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Totally.
So he's totally pivoting off of one guy to get in front of many more. And so he does a freebie. The freebie is you get this free 11 by 14 photo, which he's not like having them printed at Walmart. Like he uses a really high end, facility that does the photos. And I think he said his hard cost on it was $7.99. So it's like, he's basically paying $8 to get another $250 client, because that's what he charges, is $250.
Which, when you don't have that $250 client yet, $8 can seem like a lot, but you got to kind of switch your mindset on that.
Yes, but keep in mind, like he got it because he had the first client, right? So the first client was already paying him $250.
Okay,
and he's going to give that guy $8 in business. So okay, now his profit's basically $242. But it's going to get him in front of 3 or 4 other people who he's probably going to get their senior pictures as well. And so, yes, he's out now $8 for each of them, but so what? He's making a lot more. He's pivoting.
Right.
And then I go, okay, but now we got to look at this and go, what other business is there here? Or what other business can we do? Well, those kids all have families, and families like to have family portraits. The problem is no one ever gets around to getting their family portrait done. So you're going to make it easy for them. And when mom shows up with little junior to do his senior headshots, because by the way, kids are never going to go by themselves, right? Even if they are a senior and can drive, it's always mom who's going to be going with them, because she wants them to have their shirt on straight and all that stuff. And so you offer mom a certificate. Hey, look, if you want to get your family portrait done, because little Johnny here is going off to college or doing whatever he's going to do for the next year. I'll give you a certificate here for a free 8x10 if you get it done in the next 30 days. Right. So we're now pivoting off of the senior to get the whole family. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take it one step further. Now we're meeting with the family. And so now you're giving them a free 8x10. Big whoop-de-doo. I mean, I can't remember what he said his hard cost on that was, but it was like,
different. Okay.
Yeah, it was a little bit less. It was like $4 or $5. And but mom and dad have jobs.
Right.
And they have jobs at companies a lot of times that need to have photos done for their websites, that need to have things like that done. And so you can pivot off of them into their companies and start, working your way through that company. It's basically a form of what I call a forced referrals. And at the event, we're going to go deeper on this because there are ways that you want to set this stuff up properly, and you want to make it easy for people to give you referrals. And so you need to have certain tools in place to do that. So here's an example of how a detailer can kind of take this idea of pivoting off of people. First of all, every single person's car that you detail, they have a pivot point. Like you can pivot off of them into someone else's life, whether it's a neighbor or a coworker or a boss or something like that. So one of the things you said on your podcast was, a lot of people like to get in with companies and things like that. And you said, hey, I believe that, where everything's going is it's all a relational business. You have to have some sort of in. And I would 100% agree with that.
I guess you don't have to, but it makes it significantly easier, and the closing percentage of actually getting that would be significantly higher.
Exactly. It's about making it more efficient on you.
Right, exactly.
So what you could do is you could pivot off of someone into their employer. And so part of one of the things that I preach a lot is you want to be different than everyone else. So you show up at someone's home for the first time. If you're a mobile detailer, maybe they come into your shop for the first time. If you're a fixed shop detailer. And what a lot of guys will do is they'll just be like, okay, great. All right. So you want the basic wash and okay, vacuum and okay, you do want some wax. Not great. No problem. Here's what the price is. Give me your keys. And then they're done. And I'm like, look, we got to handle this a little bit differently. Like you want to establish yourself as the expert, as I am just the world's greatest detailer. So one of the things that I say is, all right, so on that first visit, you're going to say, hey, look, okay, Mr. Smith, this is what I like to do. This is the first time that I've come out here to do your car. Let's go ahead and inspect your car together because I want to find out some of the intricacies of your car. I want to find out what you like, what you don't like. So that way I can make sure that we do this thing correctly. And I would actually go physically around the car with them and, tell me about, how do you like the rims done? How do you like the tires done? What do you like if you do like scents inside, whatever, and basically you're establishing yourself as someone a little bit different. Then when you get done with the detail, then I would have them come back out and I would take them around the car again. I'd say, here's what we were able to do. By the way, this is a problem area that I spotted, just something I want you to be aware of for the future. And they're sitting there looking at that going, okay, this is like a doctor's office. Like no one's ever done that before. This is totally different. And then you find out, oh, okay, he also works at, this tech company over here. And what I would do is I would pivot off of that. I'd say, hey, I've got a special program right now because one of the ways that I get my business is by being the on-site detailer for companies. And I've got a couple extra spots opening up, and I know your company's, it's got pretty good size, and it's something I'd like to do. What I'd like to provide to you is a certificate that's valid for either the owner of the company or for the HR director. And I will come out there and do a complete free detail for them. And in exchange, if they take advantage of that, I like to reward you by, next time I come out here to do your car, I'm going to do it for half off, or, whatever you want to do as the freebie.
Throw in a wax. That's a freebie that's worked for me a lot, is like, hey, next time I'm out, I'll throw in a coat of wax for free. And people are like, oh, awesome.
Exactly. So now you're pivoting off of that person getting into the company, and you do the same thing when you go into the HR manager. And the reason why I say HR manager is because companies love to provide employees benefits, especially if it doesn't cost them anything.
Right.
And so if you can basically show them, and we're going to go over this in more detail at the event, if you can show them, here's how adding a detailer service like mine to your benefits package here at the company, where I'm out here every Tuesday to do everyone's car. Here's how it can really improve employee morale, employee attendance. You basically showing them all these benefits. It's not going to cost you anything. And I mean, we're going to get into this in a lot more detail at the event, because there's certain things that you need to say that are buzzwords to them, like properly licensed and insured and certified and all this other jazz, right? That they need to hear to know that, you're not the hack,
right?
that we've talked about. And, but it's that whole idea of pivoting off of these relationships. And you could literally do that. Like every time you have a meeting with a client, whether they come into your shop or you go out to see them, every time there's an opportunity to get in front of another person or in front of a company or something like that. Another great example is this. The real estate industry is notorious for this. Like, I like to go after industries that have a lot of ego in play, right? In the real estate industry.
Luckily, Pete, the auto detailing industry has no egos.
Yeah, no egos. Well, I don't necessarily mean like that, but like if I were a detailer, I'd be going, okay, I don't want to go after like the pet store company, right? Like that's not the HR person I want to talk to. I want to talk to the HR person at the technology company. Like if I were in Irvine, I'd be hitting all those technology companies. I'd be getting in with all of them.
Yep.
Because they make a lot of money, which means they have nice cars, which means there's ego involved. They got to have their nice car looking good. And that's who I want to go after. That's why, we make the joke on the video on the detailermarketingbootcamp.com video, which,
nice. Just got it in there.
Throw it in there.
It's been a while.
Been a little bit too long, actually, since we mentioned that. But one of the lines I say in that video is, look, the guy driving around in a 1995 Ford Escort is not your ideal client, right?
Nor do you want to be cleaning that car.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like a pointless car to clean. So you want to go after the ego. So technology companies, finance companies, real estate agents are a great example, because real estate agents have this ego. Like they all go out and they lease these really expensive cars because in their mind, well, now I'm going to be driving people around and showing them homes. I have to have a nice looking car.
Right.
Meanwhile, they can't even afford rent, right? But that car looks fantastic.
Could always sleep in your car, Pete.
You could, I guess. And I would not be surprised if one or two real estate agents were doing that. But you can go into that broker or that manager of that shop and be like, hey, look, here's a service that I provide. I can be out here every Tuesday to do your agent's cars. And of course, the way that I'm going to teach you guys how to do this stuff is you don't just do a car and be like, okay, well, I'm back here every Tuesday. You're going to get them on what I call a maintenance plan. You're going to sign them up on a subscription basis. They're going to be paying you on the first of every month. And you're just happen to be showing up on Tuesday to do everyone's car. Like you're going to have money coming in every month so you can sell that business should you choose to. And like in real estate, you're going to have basically the way it's going to break down. If there's 100 agents in that office, 5 of them are like making real money. Another 10 to 15 of them are making a little bit of money, but not great money. But usually the top 30 to 40 in the office are going to have nice cars and understand that they got to keep their car looking good. So it's never going to be 100% of them. And that's fine, because I mean, I don't know how many cars you need at a facility to make it worth your while, but you can make just a killing off of one real estate office because there's that much potential there. And by the way, one of the ways you would sell that to a real estate office, they're always trying to get their agents to come in for the weekly meeting. Well, you just make sure that the day you come out there is the day of the weekly meeting. So like, hey, Mr. Broker, I'm going to be here on, oh, your meeting's on Tuesdays? Great. I'll be here on Tuesday. Make sure everyone shows up and I'll be detailing their cars so they're not going to leave before your meeting started.
Right. And maybe even throw in one or two to get going.
Exactly. Always do the broker or the manager first for free.
Yeah.
Throw that sucker in and do the same thing. You make them come out there. You walk around the car after you clean it. You make them walk around again. You point out any problem areas that you saw, things like that.
And speaking of ego, how stoked is he going to be when he's getting his car done for free?
Oh,
he's going to tell everyone about it.
He's going to make sure that every agent knows you're coming on Tuesday.
Yes.
Because there's also this thing called the law of reciprocity. Robert Cialdini in his book Influence talked about it. And basically, when you do stuff for free without asking for anything in return, they feel obligated to do stuff for you. So you want to do the free stuff for the guys who control a lot of business for you.
Right.
So yeah, do it for the broker, do it for the owner. That one idea right there for some people is going to be a game changer.
Yep.
Because they're going to look at that and go, dude, I'll never wonder where my next client's coming from. I'm just going to do this. And you might need to go talk to like 3 or 4 different offices to get one of them to go, yeah, I want to do this. But isn't that worth it?
Or do you know someone who's a real estate agent? Because chances are you do. And go talk to
off of them to get in. Yep.
Boom. Done.
Yeah. So it's the whole idea of pivoting. And so what we're going to be going over at the event along these lines is how you need to do it. So where it's not like when you ask for referrals, that's all about you. And you're like, hey, by the way, you know anyone else who needs a detail? That's all about you. It's not about them. And so
it's kind of awkward. You feel kind of weird.
Exactly. And people are like,
pretty much don't say it.
Yeah, I don't, let me think about it.
Right.
I don't know anybody who needs to have their car detailed. Right. Meanwhile, they're like, boyfriend shows up with a brand new car. I don't know if he needs it detailed or not,
Right.
So like, I'll give you a great example. 1-800-Flowers, they did a study, a test internally to see what was the best way to get people to refer clients to them. And so, it was like a Valentine's Day or something like that. They're like, all right, everyone you refer, we'll give them $10 off their order. So they tried that for part of the group. Another group, they said, everybody that you refer that orders from us, we're going to give you $10 off your order. And then the third group was, we're going to give them $5 off and we're going to give you $5 off. The one that produced the most referrals was the one where they got $5 and you got $5. And it was like, people didn't feel awkward then because it was like, yeah, I'm referring someone. They're going to get a good deal, but I'm going to get a good deal. Whereas if you just gave it to them, if you're like, hey, look, if you refer me in, I'll do your car for free. They might feel kind of awkward. Like, well, I'm getting kind of paid for this and I'm
kind of spammy.
Yeah. I'm setting my buddy up. Right. Cause he's probably going to gouge him. So that's why I like to do the whole, hey, look, I'm going to give you 10% off. I'm going to give them 10% off or, whatever the number is, 20%, just depends on what your prices are and what you're offering. Or like what you said, a free wax coating. I might do that. I go, hey, look, if you can get me in with them, I'm going to give them a free wax coating. I'll give you a free wax coating on your next,
just a wax, not a coating
or wax. Sorry. I got to learn the lingo still, man. Got to learn the lingo.
You've done pretty dang good. I will admit you've done pretty good with the lingo.
Well, it's because I'm listening to your podcast, man. I'm trying to get all caught up.
You better not do anything else.
I do nothing else but listen to your podcast. That's pretty much it.
It's a lot of my voice. No, but you're right. I don't want to get too far off topic. You're exactly right.
Yeah. So, that's the whole idea of pivoting.
Where are we going to be learning more about this, Pete?
We are going to be learning more about this at the detailermarketingbootcamp.com.
I wasn't sure. It was so good. I was getting all caught up in where I should be going for my next clients. But, it brings up a valid point that I talk a little bit about in my Google AdWords course. And that is, visibility is where it's at. So you need to be as visible as possible to as many people as possible. Right. And that is kind of the basis of this pivot is that by pivoting, you're just becoming more visible to more people.
Right. Right. So. And that's why it's also important that you are on your A game. Like if you're a hack, it's never going to work. If you're doing bad work and you don't really care, you're just in it for the short-term money, it's not going to work.
Right.
It will absolutely blow up on you, which is why you got to take pride in what you do. Like like there's two stages of marketing. There's what we call direct response, which is kind of what we're talking about here, where we're going to go out and we're going to do something and we're going to get a response right now. Like Google AdWords is a great example of that. When you teach guys how to do Google AdWords, they're getting a direct response right then, a new client right then.
Which we're going to be learning about at the detailermarketingbootcamp.com.
And then there's what I call the branding side. Now, branding is what everyone wants to do. They're like, oh, my brand needs to be this. My brand needs to be that. Look, your brand is a function that flows out of how you do your business. So you need to absolutely care about your brand, but it's not your logo. It's how you do business. It's how you present yourself.
Literally the whole package.
It's the whole package. It's even how you dress. If you dress like a slob, like me, like I dress like a slob when I'm not in front of people, right?
Which is a good thing that you work behind the computer a lot.
I work out of my home office most of the time. And like you've come over to detail my car. I look like a slob because I'm like, what do I care?
Most times.
But when I go out and see a client, I don't dress like that, right? Like I got to look nice. I got to look presentable. I'll be presentable at the detailermarketingbootcamp.com June 4th.
So you're not just going to wear your boxers.
No, but I'll tell you this. I will be longing the whole day to get home and to put on my shorts and to not be wearing whatever I'm going to be wearing, but it won't be shorts.
I've been thinking about this, Pete. In all reality, I am 100% wearing shorts to the event.
But here's the thing though. You're a detailer. You can get away with more. Like your dress code is different than my dress code.
That's true. This attorney one time was trying to get me to go to his event or something, like a networking event. And he goes, the only problem is that you're going to have to wear a suit. And I looked at him and his name was Ken. And I said, Ken, I don't wear suits to weddings. Why am I going to wear a suit to your event? And how awkward does that look? Because I was also in a networking group one time, a BNI group, which I do recommend for guys just starting out. I think it could be good. But there was a president of a chapter and he was a plumber. I think his name was Dewey. So maybe this was working for him. He was literally in a 3-piece suit. And the whole time I just thought to myself, is he really a plumber? He's wearing a suit. Do you think he really crawls under a house in a suit? Like he's in a suit, but he's a plumber. That's so, why is he in a suit right now? Why is he a plumber? You know what I mean? It's like so awkward.
Yeah. I remember going to this one event and everyone there knew me as an internet marketer. So I needed to dress like an internet marketer. Internet marketers wear nice shoes, jeans, and maybe if they're like trying to be professional, a sports coat.
Okay.
I'm like, all right, so that's what I'll wear. And the only time I've ever worn that is when I want to be seen as the internet marketing guy. So
Pete will be wearing a nice sport coat.
I will. Dude, there's no freaking way I'm wearing a sport coat at this.
With a built-in AC unit.
I'm actually going to be wearing a bow tie.
Wow.
No shirt.
And nothing else.
No shirt, just a bow tie. It's going to be, if you remember Chris Farley on Chippendales, that'll be me.
Well, guys, bring your blindfolds so that you can stomach all the way through the event.
Hide your wives. Don't let them come.
Yeah. Hide your kids. Hide your wife. So in wrapping up this episode, Pete, I will not be editing that out either. What do you want to leave the detailers with?
Just the takeaway idea I want you to be thinking about is
great word, Pete. Takeaway. How
can I pivot off of my next client that I'm going to see? Like, what am I going to use? How am I going to pivot off of that relationship to get in front of someone else? That's the biggest takeaway. And I better hurry up and buy my ticket at detailermarketingbootcamp.com before they're all gone.
That's right, guys. So check out, if you want more goodies like this, come to the Detailer Marketing Bootcamp. Just do it. Sign up at detailermarketingbootcamp.com. Thanks, Pete.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Auto Detailing Podcast. Head on over to autodetailingpodcast.com for full show notes and links of everything that we've talked about today. And don't forget to check out our resources page for a direct link to all the products talked about not only on today's episode, but that I use in my day-to-day detail business. They have direct links so you can purchase and get free shipping right from that page. That's autodetailingpodcast.com. We'll see you on the next episode.